In the presidency and institutions, we have people who have an understanding of this, though most people don't have the temperament to bring it out publicly as I do. But it's known to other people. My job is to say the unsayable, especially when it's necessary. And they're afraid to shoot me because they might get credit for it. The African problem is another case of this. Africa has been treated as a slave, all of Africa. And China's behavior in Africa is one of the great embarrassments to London. Because China honors its agreements. London never does.
This is a question. It says, Lynn, it's become increasingly apparent that Obama's policies are authored in London.
Citizens don't really hate Obama so much because they never thought he was worth much anyway. He was just a sort of a Hollywood character who came on stage. So Obama was a stranger who came in, a Hollywood figure, sold like a Hollywood figure. But they do have a great feeling about the people who they thought they elected, because you're saying to them not that this stranger Obama has come in to haunt you. They're saying, you have betrayed us. We trusted you and you betrayed us. You sold us out. You're setting us to be killed by this health care policy. You're setting us to be killed. We're losing all our jobs. We're losing our things. We're being junked like junk on the horizon. And so therefore, this is typical, is when you face a change in government or change in government policy, which has reached a critical point, and you don't respond with good government, you create a vacuum in which all hell can bust loose. Obama is destroying the United States with his current policies. He didn't start this thing, but he's continuing it. When we take our government, and you put our government and even our own members of the legislature, we put them as threats to the very lives of our citizens, while you're destroying their homes, evictions, destroying the price of food, creating a food scarcity, everything imaginable. Everything that Louis XIV did, or Louis XVI did, in France, as economic policy from 1782 to 1789, that led to the great conflict between the French people and its monarchy, its government, and led to this horror show, is being done now inside the United States under British direction. And Roosevelt was a determinant of U.S. policy, not Dexter White. Roosevelt understood what the British were. I mean, there's no question of this, that people just mystify themselves by not doing the relevant research which is readily available on this thing. Remember that Roosevelt was a descendant of the Roosevelt who had worked with Alexander Hamilton in the establishment of the Bank of New York, which was the enemy of the British-controlled Bank of Manhattan. We have a bunch of traitors, and they were literally traitors. Aaron Burr's bank was the Bank of Manhattan. And Aaron Burr was an agent of the British Foreign Office since his founding, as well as being an assassin and a punk and everything else as well. But Keynes was a fascist. He's a very evil fellow, sharp but evil. And to this day, that's a problem. Now, the reason it's a problem is also because of the ignorance in our universities. We have in our university system, a certain toleration for garbage. It's an academic disease. And therefore, if your colleagues in a university feel very strongly about something, and if the people who fund the universities are inclined to the Wall Street persuasion, then anyone who knows that Keynes is a bum is going to hesitate to say so. They may say so in a very roundabout way, the usual kind of academic gibberish, but they're not going to say it straight up. And the problem is I find people in Europe the same thing, the Keynesian system. They all believe in this Keynesian system, which is nothing but imperialism. What is the empire? The empire is the control over a system of money. And the empire will take different peoples, which are called different national groups, And they will pit them against each other in wars, local wars and killing. No nation on this planet, no large nation on this planet has food sovereignty. What has happened through globalization is that every nation on this planet, if you have food, you sell it to your neighbor. If you want to eat food, you buy your neighbor's product. And the middleman, the monetarist in the meantime, like Monsanto, controls the trade. No longer do we have food security of any nation on this planet. We are the victims now of an international financial cartel which controls the supply of food for every nation. You produce food, you produce it for another country, sold through a middleman. You will find the policies are to reduce every element of food self-sufficiency of every nation on this planet. And that is the Keynesian system. But you have to start from the top, not from the bottom up. And we're told that we have democracy as long as we stick to bottom-up approaches. Thank you. That's fun. You finally got here. Oh, you have to talk to me.